I don't know if League of Legends is the best place to search for it, because since it's not a turn-based game, there's a lot of other factors going on in the gameplay that make it more interesting, whereas a turn-based game relies entirely on the abilities and tends to have more text in them.
Right, but what I'm looking for is the industry standard for like how long an ability can
Go look up some terrible JRPG somewhere to get a bad example.
be. But terrible JRPGs don't usually have wikis that are well formatted and allow you to go
It's
look
true.
up the information.
The thing about, looking for a factory standard here is that this isn't the factory standard for turn-based games. I
What
think it's a good resource, but I think there's probably better ones.
if you can find any? Let me know.
Okay.
What's this turn? Welcome back to Infinity and Beyond. If I didn't say that already. Can I open up so many things? I think design team, combat info, non-elite races and classes.
Final Fantasy Tactics has an even simpler way. It says, dash. Run into an enemy with body. Range 1, vertical 1, effect 1. And then speed now, JP 80, rating 2.
Yeah. Radiant Historia. Yeah, to Infinity and Beyond. When I was watching that and he was talking about their combat system, I was like, ooh, combat systems are similar. The one thing that I will say about it is that Radiant Historia uses the row system, I think, better than we do. Because in Radiant Historia, he was talking about how you want to move people all the time, and movement is a large function of why their row system works, or their grid system, because they have they have 3 rows and 3 columns, whereas we just have 3 rows, no columns.
Well, Darkest Dungeon does that too, where it's all about moving and shit.
Yeah, and I think that makes it a very interesting. That makes those systems very interesting. Our game consciously avoids moving people along.
Movement is more rare in our game, and I think that puts a lot of value on it for the classes that do have movement.
Yeah,
Whereas something like the Darkest Dungeon, where like all of the rogue classes have some sort of an ability that moves them, it's less iconic of a thing, and it's less important, I guess. Well, it's still very important in that game, but in this game, it's more important because not everyone has that luxury of being able to move very often. And I think things like charges, like let's say we got our guy and he's like charge attack. It resolves in one turn on the front row, hits everyone on the front row. Then the people who don't want to get hit can spend their turn to move back, and that's like a reason to.
yeah.
I think yours isn't about skirmishing around. It's more about creating formations and reacting to enemy formations. And I think that's unique in its own kind of way.
Uh, yeah, I agree. That is not your man Leo to Infinity and Beyond. This is JJ, and yes, everything you sent me was incredibly helpful. I think I think that JJ's right. Our system is much more about formations, but I think the problem with our system, having not gotten a lot of playtesting in yet, um, may be that sitting on the same row feels kind of stagnant compared to games where you're moving more frequently. Like you're assessing the landscape of battle from the same place each time. But controlling multiple characters should make that feel less sluggish, because you'll be switching between perspectives in the formation. So hopefully that workaround makes it better. JJ, what I think we need to do is take the abilities as they look now. Attack target enemy in range, gain a mobility charge. Your volume is far lower. Your volume is far lower than JJ's. Crank him down or you up.
Again with this.
That is the loudest that I can go. Try speaking now, JJ.
Wow, I'm clipping. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Turn me down.
I did.
More.
There. Is that good?
The little line should be going about 75% at my like loudest. So okay, yeah, that's probably pretty good as long as I project.
You're very loud.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why.
Maybe you're just silent.
Perhaps that's true. That could always be the case. I had my headset turned down, so that may be part of it. Okay. Attack targeting in range, gain a mobility charge. That's simple. It's like a good thing. I think Severender's text is a little bit more...
Oh.
Here we go. I can just work on these three from here. Let us know if that helped at all. Move to the front row. Front row. Then attack and target enemy in range. Period.
Oh, they need to have what their action type is.
True. Outright. Basic.
Or do you think...
Well, they'll be on the bar. Like, it'll be in the basic section.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah.
It needs its mana cost, but what I wanted to do for that was, like, have the mana cost, but have it cut out of the bottom mana bar. So, like, instead of showing on the ability itself, when you hover over the ability button, it would show in the mana bar for your character how much it was going to take and have the value read down there.
You know, it'd be cool if, like, it showed, like, a picture of the health bar and mana bar, and then it, like, sectioned off a bit of the mana bar to tell you how much mana it was going to take from the overall thing.
Yeah.
Like a visual representation.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh. Well, fine then.
Jeez.
The call of some people.
Indicate how much mana or HP in action the ability will cost with numbers. Hey, Flame Fox, welcome. Indicated as well. Yeah, so then we don't really even have to say on the ability how much mana it's going to take. Move to the front row, attack target enemy in range. Now, how do we reduce the text of Severender from there? For each row moved in this way, gain +1 range and an additional attack until end of turn. You may not attack the same row more than once with this ability. Damage dealt by this ability is halved if all attack targets receive damage after. Has someone had a haircut? Yes, I did get one of those.
Oh, wow, that is
All of the information
a good question.
is necessary there.
It's probably
Too fresh.
Maybe it uses how using X would make it too confusing, right? Where it's like move X rows and attack X times, where X is the number of rows you move.
Right. I think so, because it's affording. It's like You would get it once you'd seen it, but it doesn't really help you in terms of text. I can't think of any way to meaningfully adjust it. If you guys have any suggestions for how we might reduce the ability of text of this ability to be less, like any information that you think could be cut, let us know.
Wait, does this only bring you to the front row, or
Yeah,
is it just
it's only to the front row. So
Okay,
if you're
so-
on like
It's the front row. It's the front row if maybe the text changes based on where you are.
interesting,
So,
but
like,
then it doesn't give you a way of planning.
well, it would say it would say under the ability like this changes based on where you are, and it'd be you just like hover over that, and it'd give you the big long explanation of like, you know, if you're rows away, you get +2 attacks and +2
Okay,
range.
I see. So basically, we save the complexity for the longer description. Move to the front row, attack target enemy in range, and then we have, for front row description, it says...
Or would be it wouldn't do anything, right?
No, you still attack them. You just,
Wait.
like, the first part of it doesn't... Like, you spend 10 mana to attack someone, basically.
That's dumb.
But it lets you do things like using an ability... like, for instance, let's say that they're going to disable the next ability you use. Then you can use Sever Ender on the front row.
Yeah.
If you click on it, it tells you more. Yeah, we intend on doing that.
It could say on the normal abilities, it would say move to the front row, and then something along the lines of like this scales with how much rows you move forward, and then you'd be able to open up other descriptions.
Yeah, move to the front row, attack target enemy in range. This ability scales with movement. And then that's got... Okay, we need a color differentiator. So this will be purple. Whoops. Purple will be that it has like a thing.
Like
a box.
Like you go inside to figure out more.
Yeah, and this one would be just that if you hover over it, it explains it.
So the text would, depending on which row, the text would reveal like move to the front row, attack. Like let's say I was on the back row, it would say move to the front row, then attack an enemy 3 times, gain +1 range.
Those moved equals range and 1 extra attack. Yeah, Flame Fox. I got my kill feed working after 3 days of trying to get this to work. Nice, Mr. Cryptic, nice. Flame Fox, could you elaborate? I know you're trying to like reduce the text, but rows moved equals range and 1 extra attack. That's like X equals, basically, which is what we want to avoid. Move to the front row, gain +1 range. What is the ability? For each row moving this way, gain +1 range and additional attack until end of turn. You may not attack the same row more than once with this ability.
There's so much text!
Yeah, there is. Maybe, well, we can't really get rid of any of it either, because Christian's already programmed the ability.
And it's important.
Right. Move to the front row, gain +1 range. Move to the front row. Gain +1 range. Attack. Target. Enemy. On. Got my kill fever. The $1 Million RPG man. Super Gordon 22. Welcome, welcome.
Oh my god, it's Super Gordon 22!
Move to the front row. Gain +1 range. Attack. Up to 2. Target enemies in range so long as they do not share a row. Fair? Oh, okay. Hey, Flame Fox. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. You know, I think that last part, the damage reduction part, can maybe be taken away. Damage dealt by this ability is halved if all targets attacked receive damage after.
Yeah, because chances are you're never gonna not do damage on the mid-row guy.
Let's do this. Let me send this to Christian to remove from the ability text. Remove.
Well,
this
isn't that there so you can't just build like straight tank? Well, then you wouldn't really have a use for this ability if you did just go straight.
I think it's fine, and it ends up reducing the complexity of the ability. And like I thought for a long time that adding that at the end of it was just poor design anyway, because it's forcing, like, we could have just designed the ability so it didn't need the restriction.
Hey, I didn't design this class, boy. It's just on you. Don't put this on me.
Whoever it was I was working with. Move to the front row. Gain +2 range. Attack up to 3 target enemies in range so long as they do not share a row. Okay. Mr. Cryptic, the kill feed at the top, it works. Ignore all the placeholder stuff. Everything is placed sooner. Oh, cool. Super cool, Mr. Cryptic. I'll have to check that out after the stream. Okay. So, let's do these in...
I know what I want, and I want it now.
Great. Okay, well that's not terrible, because these things won't show up unless you're on like a given row. And this is the this is what will show up when you do the purple thing too. So I guess that should be a separate shade of purple.
So if you click on the purple thing, it would bring up all the descriptions.
Yes.
And normally it just shows the description of the row you're on.
Right.
So I think that should be before the text. Like it should show you like front row description and then the text if you're on the front row. Like the words front row description should whatever row description.
I think it'll say like this if we're talking about this, it would say like front row.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. I think you're right. That's probably what we'll do. Alright, Severender, Animus, is that it? Okay, so this one's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Oh, good. The last one sure wasn't.
But actually, this is all that I ended up needing to explain the ability once I separated out the other complex elements from it.
Mounts have their own ability phase.
It's like when you're taking your turn, I think there'll be like the mount's portrait in front of your portrait, sort of, or like you
I
you
think
would
it would work the same way as, well, actually, you and your mount take your turns at the same turn, right?
yeah, yeah. So this is what I was thinking: is you'd have like if you're the cavalier, here's your cav portrait, you know, and then here's like your mount's portrait in front of yours. And so like if you want to take your mount's turn first, maybe some arrows like this.
I think it would teach you in the tutorial where to click,
Yeah, definitely.
but like,
Once you get the ability, but like
yeah.
that's what I was thinking, so that you.
Wait,
that,
what the hell is that?
that's his mount.
Your mouse drawing skills need much improvement.
No, that's the mount.
You need to like go up on some Shaolin temple and like not talk for like 5 years, and then come back and draw me a better fucking mouse drawing.
Fun, cool dudes. Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the stream. If you want a wish, go ahead and check the FAQ underneath the video and see how those work.
They're called fun cool dudes.
Yeah, essentially.
Oh my god, we're just like them.
Just talk to
We have
Kickstarter.
so much in common.
So what happened, Super Gordon? Elysian Shadows. Yeah, sure, we'll do Mr. Cryptic. Thanks.
Mr. Cryptic. Hey, if you say cryptic a certain way, it sounds kind of funny. Cryptic.
Okay, so Elysian Shadows. I need to add that to my Kickstarter research thing. Elysian Shadows Kickstarter.
It sounds anime as heck.
Yeah.
It's a super anime name.
August 1st, 2014. Okay, this one. Old school 16-bit RPG.
The next generation of the 2D RPGs.
RP Jesus.
No.
No.
We don't talk about the RPGs, us.
No. I thought that was what all the cool kids were doing these days.
No.
Okay, so begin each battle by summoning a mount to the battlefield under your control in the row you currently occupy. That's
Start battle with a mount.
Start battle with mount.
Start butthole with mount.
Begin battle mounted.
Very good. Butthole mount.
And mounted will be green.
Do you really have to put in the text that he's on the same row as you? Wouldn't that be a visual communication thing?
Yeah, I am not putting that in now.
Okay.
If your mount dies in battle, you may summon another from the list below to replace it. That'll be in the mount information section. Wouldn't it be? I'm gonna. He's famous for YouTube adventures and game dev. Oh, okay.
If your mount dies in battle, you have to wait. Isn't summoning it like? You have to do something to summon it again.
You start the battle by having your mount in. When it dies, you get to like summon it for free. It says a free active.
But it has to be another one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no problem, Super Gordon. Yeah, it can't be the same one.
Okay.
It's so I don't know how we want to handle that. Yeah, get my socks off because they were hot. Mounts have their own ability phase. Begin battle mounted. Uh,
If a mount dies. Well, this is like an ability within another
if your mount
ability. So
dies
how
in
do you want
battle,
to
you may
handle
summon another from the list
something
below
like
to
that?
replace it. That's also like not text that we need. It's just describing how it's going to work, right? Because when it dies, it's just going to give you the option to summon your mount.
In the battle mounted.
JJ.
Maybe it says
Yeah,
something
JJ.
like maybe it says something like remount it should your mount die or something like that.
Accidentally turned you down. So
Oh,
that's why I was
oh,
saying no,
oh,
JJ.
oh, good.
Sorry.
Oh, you know what? You know what?
If it seemed like I was talking over you and being a dick, I really apologize. I was not trying
You,
to.
you know what? I'm
No.
okay with that.
Okay. So I think like this stuff is just like stuff the programmer needs to know, but not the player.
I think the player needs to know that
If your
there isn't a huge consequence of their mount dying.
if your mount dies in battle, you may summon
A different one.
another to replace it. You may summon another in as a free active. That's probably all that needs to be there. No, okay. Mounts have uh, mounts, but that's going to be in the mount section. Mounts share your turn. So now we need the mount, like, but we've already got the mount text in this one.
Mount text.
Does it need to be in the same place? Like, do we need for each ability where we have green text, we put the green text here so we don't have to flip between documents? That probably makes the most sense.
What?
You see how this says mobility charge, but it doesn't explain mobility charge? If we're trying to have all of the information in the same place, then it would make sense to have the explanation of mobility charge here, like underneath outright.
Yeah. We're designing for the website, right?
We're designing for both the website and the game itself. Like, what you were saying is that like some of this was a lot of text even now, and I agree with you. So I think it's better that we go in and we cut it even more than it was, keeping it to the bare minimum, and then making it so that if you need to know more about the ability, you can always look.
Yeah. And I think on the web page it's more likely that there are links. Maybe. I don't know if George wants to create a different page for every single
We